Okay, so today I'm just going to do a super quick demo on how to use your Calendly information to set up a CRM over in Airtable. So we're starting in Airtable. What you want to do, and obviously this isn't accurate data, I have changed everything, but what you want to do is create a base, call it whatever you'd like, probably CRM, that would be helpful. And then you want to be sure to enter in at least these basic fields, but go ahead and enter in whatever you would like to keep track of in terms of your CRM management. So Calendly can send over quite a few things. I think the most relevant for a CRM are name, it sends over the full name, email, the meeting, and any kind of notes that you're collecting along with that appointment. So if you're not comfortable with Airtable, send over your date as just a single line of text. You can send over the date field and then use a couple functions to make it a bit more user-friendly. So if you're a bit more advanced, go ahead and do that. But this is kind of the most basic setup if you're just new to the program. So this is what you need to set up in Airtable, and then you would come over to Zapier. So Zapier is this awesome tool that allows you to kind of connect all of this data and send things all over the place. So if you don't have a Zapier account, go ahead and create that, and then just make a new Zap. So when you hit make a new Zap, the first thing you're going to want to pull in is Calendly. Okay, so easy enough to do that. You just choose your app and put in Calendly. From there, you want to connect your account. There are a couple of steps with this. Zapier walks you through. You do need an API key. Obviously, for security purposes, I'm not going to be showing any of that or my account information, but get down to all of those steps. And then you're going to want to go ahead and test your trigger. So again, it walks you through this. You're going to want to pull in the most recent appointment that you have so that you have some data. If you have not used Calendly at all yet, it won't work because you do need to have data in order to test out these Zaps. So go ahead and schedule yourself for your own appointment and then come back into Zapier. So you want to be sure that the trigger you're using is invitee created in Calendly. There's a couple of different triggers, but this whole series is run off of this. So once you've tested your trigger and gotten your little green check mark, the next step would be to create a record in Airtable. So again here, you're going to choose Airtable and choose create a record, set up your account, and then set up your action. Now this is going to allow you to create all of the fields that you would like and pull over and link up that data. So just go through and link everything up one-to-one. Again, it's not shown here to protect personal information, but Zapier does a great job of linking up those fields for you. So you'll want to match name to name, date to date, and I picked for this one, there's a field called nice format. That's what I chose. And then notes, again, would be any notes that you are collecting or questions that you're asking in the Calendly form. And then go ahead and test the action. And what should happen is it pushes over information into your Airtable. So this is the base setup for how to use Calendly and Airtable together to build your CRM. From there, you could always add additional information in Airtable that you would like to. Maybe after meeting with them, there's additional things you'd like to add in. Or if you're collecting data from other sources, you could put those fields here and use another Zap to pull that information in from other sources that you have. This is the base Zap. I will show you also how to do a bit more advanced that takes into account cancellations and whether or not someone already exists in your CRM. Okay, so for the advanced step, we're going to use the same things we've been using, just add in a couple of extra steps to allow Zapier to work for us. So the first trigger is exactly the same. The next thing we're going to do is set up a filter. Now, for this filter, I have decided to use canceled. So essentially what this does is say, hey, every time an invitee is created in Calendly, it's going to then come to this filter and look to see if certain criteria are met. So in this case, I'm not wanting to collect information on people who have canceled an event. So that's what I've chosen to pull in. And in that case, if canceled was shown, this wouldn't continue. The Zap wouldn't continue and it wouldn't update your CRM. You could also add in an extra step here that gives you a little bit of a delay in between when the invitee is running and when things are coming through, so that it's not checking automatically. Would give you a little bit of time in terms of cancellations. Totally up to you. From there, all we did was change the next step in Airtable to look and see if that record already exists. So again, what you're going to want to do, connect everything up and set up a test action. We're going to find based on email. So you want to fill out the appropriate email fields and be sure to link up your Calendly email in this Find or Create. That way, if that already exists, this action will find it. If it doesn't, it will create a record. So you would follow the same steps as before, matching up name, email, date, and notes. After that, you're going to update the record. So if that record already exists, you can choose the actions to update here. So for this example, it's date of last meeting and the notes from that meeting. Again, this can be useful for multiple different things to keep track of how often folks are meeting with you, new notes, just to keep your CRM as up to date as possible. If you want to keep the old information, then you wouldn't want to update it and you would stick with the first step. This would allow you to just constantly be adding to your CRM, and you could use some steps in Airtable to help manage duplicates that way. I hope you found this helpful and have fun.